Look, I'll be brief because I want to share the time fairly. Can I just make a number of points and observations and just one or two questions at the end, and I'd appreciate a response from either Minister. Look, I believe other TDs have spoken about this today already. The impact on students in terms of the regression and how we quantify that regression in the coming months. I understand from both ministers that there will be an expanded summer programme or summer provision this year, and that is to be welcomed. But I do believe that there's legitimate justification in quantifying that regression, and I'd be interested to see if either minister can confirm if their department will be doing any report in that regard, because I believe that quantifying that regression, no matter what, whether it's with people with special education needs or whether it's part of mainstream cohorts, I believe it's important that we would have that in a report, because that leads on to my second point, which would be regarding Professor Ferguson and the establishment of his committee as well. And just I suppose a number of speakers here have spoken about the role that rapid antigen testing could take place, if it could take place in second level schools and primary schools, and I believe there's merits in it, not just in a school setting but in wider society. And I take the Minister's point that Professor Ferguson's committee is to do a report on that and present it to NEFIT and present it to Cabinet. But I do believe that there's a role for rapid antigen testing, not just in a school setting but in many settings. Look, the third point I'd just like to raise regards PPE. I thank the Minister again for her clarification on that matter, and she clarified it again yesterday at the Education Committee. And it was a myth that was being peddled here by a number of opposition TDs that PPE funding was slashed and cut, and in fact it hasn't been, and I'm glad the Minister has put that to bed once and for all. And finally, my last point just relates to ASD provision, and again I note a number of speakers have spoken about it here again today. And I welcome the work that Minister Rabbitte has done in prioritising assessment of needs, but that has obviously created a greater demand on the other side of things. So if the Minister could just expand on her Section 37A powers, how they could be utilised, how I suppose they need to be justified in making that decision. If they could just maybe elaborate on the process there in regards to 37A, Section 37A.
I'm going to take a group together.